David, I'm the only one that's got any sanity about me in this studio this morning. We'll have, particularly Woodsy, we'll have to scrape her off the ceiling, right? David, I believe there's a big game tonight.
Yeah, just a little one. Yeah, and it's great. You know, finally it's here. You know, I was watching the excuse me, I was watching the
emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, there was a chance that Germany were going to be going out, and then all of a sudden it's like, bang, we've got England. I'm like, oh God, here we go again.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to continue. I'm just watching him on the screen. I basically got these like great big love heart eyes. It's David Seaman. I can't help it. What would you say to the guys? So basically, if you were in goal today, what would you be saying to your team before this match?
I'd be telling them to go out there and play their game. You know, like what Gareth said earlier, that this is a chance of them to make their own history. You know, there's a lot of history involved in this game. A lot of it's been pretty negative, if I'm honest. But yeah, just go out there, play your game. Try not to get carried away too much with the nerves and everything, and go out there and show them what you can do, because this team and this squad are capable of a lot more than what we've seen.
As you said there, David, I mean, how important is it that they play the game and not the occasion? Because of course, they're going to be getting caught up in it. It's everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. But it's about the game tonight rather than obviously what it means in terms of history between England and Germany.
It is, you know, and the game is, once they get on that pitch, then they should go into autopilot, you know, and play their game. All the emotion and everything and getting caught up is all before. You know, I remember going up that tunnel at the old Wembley and just seeing a massive fans and a massive flags. And you know, with what had gone on in Euro 96, made it even more special. And we knew that, you know, beating the Germans would be a real step closer to actually winning it, you know, because we felt that if we got to Croatia, the Czech Republic, we had a good chance of winning it. But, you know, we had to get past Germany, and it wasn't to be on the night. It was so close, but it just wasn't to be.
I'm sorry, you go.
I was just going to ask you, David, do you think from, see, the German point of view, I mean, clearly, would be totally wrong to think it's not as important to them as it is to English lads, because that's not the case. But do you think they sometimes handle the situation better in the respect that, and you touched on it, the English lads sometimes they play the occasion rather than the game itself, whereas the Germans, I know we've been through it 100 times, David, we know what they're like. They're just so methodical, organised and professional, can actually play the game rather than the occasion.
Yeah, they do seem to play the occasions and the games a lot better, you know, especially in tournament competition. You know, and you don't really hear them talking much in the English media. I don't know what they're like over in Germany, but you know, they always seem prepared. But if I'm honest, when I'm looking at this German team, I'm thinking we've got a good chance.
Yeah.
You know, we seriously need to step up though, because you know, our group games they've been good, but they've not been brilliant. I still feel, like I said, like there's so much more to come. You know, there's players there that they've shown little bits of what they can do, you know, and I just feel like hopefully there's a performance in there, like what we had against Holland, for instance, you know, that all of a sudden it just comes right at the right time. And boys, this time it's got to be tonight.
I'm going to put you in goal again for a second, David, because I just want to know who you would rather have in front of you, whether it's a back four, a three, or the two holders. What would you feel comfortable with tonight?
I've always preferred a back four. You know, obviously with Arsenal, it worked really well. You know, so I was used to that. But I don't like for it to be changed too much. You know, so I think that Gareth might go with the back four tonight, because players are getting used to playing in that position. Then all of a sudden you change it for one game, it can be difficult to switch over.
It will, won't it? And also the question marks about whether or not he's going to play a very defensive side tonight, or whether he's going to just allow more attacking players to flourish. Do you think, looking further up the pitch, the talent that we've got in those kind of areas, would you rather see England really have a go?
Yeah, I would rather see us have a go, but you know, there's a fine balance that you need to get. And going into the tournament, everybody was talking about that the defence is probably our weakest part of our squad. But it's had 3 clean sheets,
yeah.
You know, and it's dealt with everything. I felt, you know, Jordan has had a couple of saves to make, you know, real good saves to make, you know, and he's not been too busy. So keep that fine line of making sure that you're tight at the back, and then go on and try and nick a goal. I would take 1-0 all day long. I'd take 10-9 if I'm honest.
Okay, that would be.
David, how do England go on and win this game? I mean, you touched on it there. There's got to be a fine balance, but I mean, would you like to see the likes of Grealish in the team? Obviously, the creativity that he expresses. Saka, obviously, fellow Gooner, was superb. I mean, how do England go about it?
Yeah, I think I would play Grealish every time because of what he does. He finds those little passes, Benny, and he's also brilliant at getting free kicks around the box. So we've seen that. And he's hopefully he'll start tonight. But we've got two great holding midfield players in Rice and Phillips as well. And maybe I want to see Phillips pushing on like he did in that first game. A little bit more further forward. But yeah, and then the choice is, it's Saka or Foden. And, in Saka, you've got a player that's right on his game, loving his game, actually, and then goes out there and plays with a smile. It'll be interesting if he does play and that smile's on his face tonight, because this is a big game tonight.
I just had a text in that I wanted to read you from Jamie G. He says, hopefully David would be telling Jordan Pickford not to wear the most shockingly outrageous and hideous goalkeeper's top ever tonight. Oh, what a disrespect. That's one of my favourite shirts. I can actually see a couple behind you. Can you tell us which ones they are?
Yeah, well, I've got my black one is the England versus Argentina in the 2002 World Cup. That was a very good memory, signed by all the lads. I've got one of Michael Owen's shirts that's signed from the 2001 win when we beat them 5-1 in Munich. So, and then the one behind me is like a little montage of that. So it's great memories.
Yeah, really great memories. Finally, if it does go to penalties, David, because we saw, didn't we, 2018 World Cup, Jordan Pickford had little notes written on his water bottle. What would the advice be ahead of tonight for a penalty situation?
Well, for the players, it'd be just don't change your mind. I think the hardest thing of taking a penalty is that walk from the halfway line.
It's horrible. That is horrible.
I've never done it, but I once took a penalty in a charity shield against Peter Schmeichel. So I only had to walk from my goal, and that was bad enough. Trust me. I put the ball down, and the goal just seemed to shrink. And then I tried to side foot it, and Peter threw his cap on it.
How long did it take you? Did you speed up your walk from your goal?
No, not really. I tried to give it all that calm and casual one, and it was rubbish.
What did you think of Mbappe's penalty last night?
It was a pressure penalty, and when you look at it, it weren't bad. If the goalie goes the other way, then it's a great pen. But that's what I look at when I'm watching penalties. I'm looking at the players and thinking, well, if they send the goalkeeper the wrong way, have a look at where it's gone, and then you think, well, if he'd have gone the other way, there's a very good chance he'd save that. And hopefully tonight, Jordan's doing lots of homework. Hopefully it don't need to go to penalties, but if it does, it would be amazing to beat them on penalties.
Absolutely. David, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure to hear you, and we'll see you very soon. Enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game, mate.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much. That is former England international David Seaman, an absolute legend. A reminder as well, you should have a look at it today. There's a piece in The Times, I think it was yesterday's actually, looked at all of Germany's penalties in major tournaments. 29 scored, only 4 missed. I think 2 of those were just out and 2 of those were saved. Rarely, if ever, do they go down the middle. I imagine all that homework is stored up in Jordan Pickford's mind tonight. A 5 o'clock kickoff, England taking on Germany. Don't miss it.